You are using Mantis all wrong, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to go from support fodder and trip support comps to carrying your lobbies and making admins think about you when they touch themselves at night. We were undefeatable, weren't we, baby? How am I using Mantis wrong, Quad? Well, first, we gotta start off by breaking down her kit. Mantis has four crucial things that breaks down her playstyle. The first part of her kit is obviously her shoot or life energy blast, which I'm gonna break down in a minute. Her R2 or left click, whatever it is for you. Then we have her sleep, which aside from her ultimate is the most important part of her kit. Mantis' sleep or spore slumber is one of the major deciding factors between you winning and losing fights. Then finally, we have her damage boost. Allied Inspiration, which damage boosts allies, and Natural Anger, which damage boosts herself, as well as her healing ability, Healing Flower. So we have her damage boost and healing, her sleep, and her shoot. And that's really how you break down Mantis' kit. Her ultimate is something separate, as well as her passives, but we'll get into that in a second. Let's start by getting into Mantis' shoot. Mantis' primary is one of the more niche yet simple R2 or left click abilities in the game. Being a shorter character in a third person game like Rivals means you usually have to aim a little higher with her, and can hit flicks more often due to the over the shoulder effect the camera provides, which makes it so you can hit people by aiming at their top left shoulders from even 40 meters away. It does a flat 50 damage per body shot and 100 damage per headshot with no damage fall off, at a very consistent 2.5 shots per second with 20 ammo. Mantis also has one of the faster reloads in the game, meaning that she's basically a spam character, more so classified with characters like Squirrel Girl, Iron Man, or even Moon Knight. She has consistent and respectable damage, making her also very good at spamming shields, depleting them at a very fast rate compared to the rest of the support cast. At such a fast rate that spamming sightlines leaves you bound to deplete tank and squishy health pools before they even realize they're low. Proper focusing and good aim goes a long way on Mantis, from winning 1v1s to enabling picks for your team. Mantis' primary can do it all. Mantis' sleep is more than just a hard CC ability. It can completely minimize the other team's push entirely. While low in damage at 10 damage per hit, it fires like an AoE bomb with a 3-meter radius, only hitting one person but stunning them for 3.5 seconds unless woken up early. Opposing teams can destroy the effect by dealing 100 damage to the illusion that appears behind the slept character. At a fair cooldown of 15 seconds, Mantis is a constant threat to the enemy team's sustain. When is it best to use Mantis' sleep, Quad? I have three optimal situations to be using her sleep ability. The first one is for defense. Her sleep and constant poke are the only things keeping you from getting dove successfully. So by sleeping divers, not only do they lose value, but they also become easy pickings for your team. Second is for tempo control, usually against enemies that have high poke potential or are using high damage cooldowns. Throwing your sleep at the sightlines of those characters can increase your team's offensive and defensive capabilities, heavily slowing down the overall DPS of the enemy team. Third is for punishment, uber aggressive tanks and DPS, or even horribly positioned supports. Mantis' sleep can open up easy picks on the slept character or their teammates as they lack the defensive pressure who you sleep provides. Understanding when to abuse these situations allow your team to roll lobbies by your hand as a support, even leaving your teammates saying,
Mantis, add me, please.
What about me? He wrote me into this. Well, that one over there wrote me into this. Well, he wrote me into this.
the skill gap between higher and lower rank Mantis players really lies in orb usage. Overall orb management is the hardest part of her kit. Knowing who to damage boost and heal, and even how often to do so for faster ultimates is a deciding factor in value for your team. I'm not innocent either. Usually in triple support comps, I have the least amount of healing done. Yet, I'm winning deep in Celestial. Mantis is a high octane and constant activity based character. Focus too much on damage and your team needs healing, but focus too much on healing and you're losing carry potential. Here's how I manage my orb usage. With her orbs regenerating at a constant one orb every 3 seconds, as well as an instant regeneration after landing a crit, you aren't forced to use them as sparingly as you think, even though you can only carry 4 at one time. Every orb used gives 8 seconds of either 12% of damage increase on a teammate or Mantis herself, or 8 seconds of 20 healing per second with a one-time burst heal of 55 HP. They can stack as well to give your teammates 16 seconds of either constant heals or increased damage. With Mantis, it starts in your spawn. Think about what characters on your own team have the most consistent DPS, or who would benefit the most with longer or shorter burst heals of increased damage. Think of characters like the Punisher, or even the possible Atom Man. They both apply constant pressure on enemy squishies, and with that extra push and damage, have insane one-shot potential. Then, you also have the dive characters that, with a 16-second damage boost, have ample time to do deadly combos. Even ultimates like Magneto's that become way easier to get picks with. While enabling them to do way more damage, you are being enabled to get your ult way faster as well. A constant spam from Mantis and proper orb placement can have you receiving your ult twice within the same team fight at times. When using your healing flower, the same principle applies. While the uncomfortably low 55 burst healing can be underwhelming, it, if timed well, can become very dependable. When targeting tanks for healing, try to keep the aggressor and the most damage soaking tank with a constant heal on them while on the front lines. The 55 burst heals become 75, then 1 second later, 95. When healing squishies, the same rules also apply. While they're in threatening situations, keep a constant heal on them and let your burst and other supports do the rest. Finally, every orb used grants Mantis 12.5 healing per second on herself, which allows her to better focus on out DPSing the opposing team instead of out healing. The occasional self damage boost helps as well to give you ult charge faster when in a position to get a lot of hits in on the enemies or get a pick. You should always be thinking of where your orbs can go next because there is always an answer with a character like Mantis.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
Mantis's passives and ultimate leave her as the second most underrated support, behind Loki of course. Her passive, Nature's Favor, gives her a constant movement buff unless she takes damage, and it's back 3 seconds later without taking damage. This makes light flanks, jiggle peek pokes, and even one-on-one situations way more practical of a playstyle Mantis can replicate. Her team-up ability, Nature's Soul, gives her a full health free revive with an Atom Warlock present on her team. Even at a 120-second cooldown, it makes Res Comp the most clutch team comp in the game. Mantis's ultimate, Soul Resurgence, ties with her sleep for my favorite part of her kit. It's considered one of the worst support ultimates, yet its potential is boundless. It grants 200 burst health to yourself and allies, healing an additional 150 health over the span of 8 seconds, at an 18.75 HP per second rate, and with a 15-meter radius. For every 100 extra healing, you receive 70 bonus health, with a maximum bonus health available to gain being 100 bonus health for both yourself and allies. The best part is that you are granted a movement speed buff of 3 meters per second. Mantis also has the lowest ultimate cost amongst the support cast at 3,700 charge. Mantis's ult isn't meant for sustain. It's meant to change the tempo of fights. What it lacks in healing, it makes up for in overall pressure. The speed increase makes slow Punisher ults feel like we gave Cap a monster energy and 2,000 round miniguns. Now that's American right there. Cocky teams that aggress too hard are forced to swallow their own words and spawn. It also can be used to digress and regroup, with low counters due to its instant burst healing and the same movement speed buff that allows you to dodge incoming response ults, like a Mag Meteor for instance. The low ult cost allows it to be used more on cooldown, often feel like a genuine ultimate ability you have to build, which leaves Mantis overwhelming teams with her ultimate's overall aggro potential. Mantis mains are finally eating, and I love to see it. With the introduction of Ultron in Season 2.5, Mantis is more likely to see an Atom main or a random willing to run res comp. Even without it, Mantis mains are gonna milk Mommy Ultron for all the triple heal comps they can get. I hope this guide was able to give you some insight and maybe a different perspective on how Mantis can be played. Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you like the content, much more to come, and with some very special guests as well. I'm R underscore quad, and this was my Season 2.5 Mantis guide.